Allen Dunford, and we're going to be talking about his new comic book, Mostly Dead. How you doing today, Alan?
Hey, I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to finally be talking about this. We've been working on this book for 11 days, and we just haven't really found the time to launch it. And then a lot of the stars kind of aligned, and now we're here.
Can you break down, give us a quick rundown of what Mostly Dead is?
No.
Okay, well, so
Yeah,
let me explain.
So Mostly Dead, it follows the story of a boy named Nate who, his parents die in a car wreck when he was very young, and then he becomes the ward of the state. And he's life in an orphanage. It's awful. He hates it. And then one day, while putting up books in a library, he discovers a hidden passage inside of the orphanage that leads to the Book of the Dead. And inside of those pages, he finds out that he can bring his parents back.
Now, my question for you, first off, is what was the inspiration for this? Because we see some Evil Dead here with the Necronomicon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's some maybe Lock and Key or maybe even Indiana Jones with some of this hidden passageway stuff. What were you pulling for this one?
So this was something that Kit and I decided to do together. He messaged me and he was wanting I think he was wanting like a fun, spooky story. And then we kind of were brainstorming a little bit, and then we came up with Mostly Dead. And I think that this really takes my love for a lot of the claymation movies that I like, and it throws it in there too, because of course I love Evil Dead. And one of my favorite movies of all time is actually ParaNorman. I think there's a lot of ParaNorman in this because it's fun, it's quick, it's zany. And I also love the movie Monster House. I know that's not claymation, but that
is a
style
good flick.
That style kind of lends itself well to it. And dude, I love that movie. I think the writing in it is just so much fun. It's so good. So yeah, man, like I said, it's just one of those things where I don't know. I think we're just able to marry all that stuff that we love together and just tell a fun and original story.
Bringing in ParaNorman makes a bunch of sense because Dave Lentz, who did the coloring on this, the art, or the green glow that comes off of this behind the bookshelf world, it just screams that, right? Right away, it's like inviting and eerie. It's perfect. Really good.
Yep. Yeah, dude, again, like I just love those kind of stories because like, growing up, like I love the I just love spooky stuff. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, that was, I watched that on repeat. And then again, able to take something like this now is just, it's amazing.
Yeah. It definitely feels like it's got some horror tones in there, but also it's far warmer because like we have somebody like, Sister Sharon, who seems good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sister, Sister Sharon's a jerk. Sister Clara seems good.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to kind of get a heartwarming story out of this too? Because it's a little bit of a mix of both.
Yeah, so it's going to be... All right, so how do I explain this? I don't like being sad.
Fair enough. So you write an awful lot of like horror books for
I know. I don't like being sad, but like I could separate it whenever I feel like we need to tell like an engaging like story with just downtrodden characters or whatever. But with Mostly Dead, like despite however the ending is for it and whatever the outcomes are that happens throughout the series, I still want to approach it with a lighthearted way, right? And I still want stuff to be bittersweet and everything. Like I said, like this isn't so much a departure too from the stuff that Kit and I have already done together. It's not as crazy as like some of the books like Cockhead, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much fun, and I think that it's got a little charm to it that people will really connect with.
Yeah. When you're telling this book, and it's a very first in a franchise, clearly going to be building up to a lot bigger story. Mm-hmm. How do you judge how much you want to reveal? Like, what goes into that process of trying to build a character, build a world that's inviting but doesn't give away too much yet? Because it seems like for me, like as somebody who maybe would write a D&D campaign, I would want to shove in more about the secrets behind the bookshelf.
Right.
But you got to temper yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's one of the things that like that's the hardest for me as a writer, especially with telling a story because like it's so funny. I was saying this before. I love slow burn stuff. Like I
Yeah.
love movies that are very atmospheric and they take a little bit to build up and then the meat of the story isn't until like the last like 20 minutes of the movie, right? Like
Yeah, Coen
I don't
Brothers
know. I just
style. Yeah.
yeah, I just love stuff like that. But like with my writing style, it's different from that because I don't want the reader to be bored, right? Or what I feel like they would be bored, right?
Right.
Because my name doesn't sell a book yet. Like I wish it would. I wish to be like a new Allen Dunford joint coming soon, and then everyone would just get on it. But like, still from where we're independent and we're still trying to capture as many eyes as we can and stuff. Like I feel like sometimes we just need to like go, right? Like so that's why I always try to take like the first like 8 to 12 pages and like we have a little bit of our world building and stuff and then we have a fun like okay so this is where we're going and then issue 2 I can really start getting into the lore behind stuff and issue 3 really develop it and stuff like
I was telling Squeaks about Cockhead, and
that. What a
uh,
sentence.
I know, right? And then we started talking about your comic book. But then
Yeah.
I was telling him, oh, it's done by Allen Dunford. He's like, who's Allen Dunford? I was like, Pocus Hocus. Like, oh, I love that guy.
Okay.
So
Oh, hilarious. Okay.
maybe your name doesn't get there, but your books are still getting there.
Yeah,
So that's
the
good.
titles get there. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. With this one, how are you wanting to making sure it's got its own identity compared to your other books? Because there are other books that you make that
Mhm.
are like the horror comedy genre, but
Right.
this one has that different vibe. How are you doing that?
Like I said, it's the charm with it. Like, the other books are really, how do I word this? They're like gore focused, because like it's like that kind of
Yeah,
like
I see that.
that kind of like dark comedy, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that
Like
that in
Grandma
the sense of
Chainsaw for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pocus Hocus, like, there's a lot of action in Pocus, a lot of bloodshed, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like, but it's still a funny story around everything. Um, but again, like with this one, like I just really wanted the narrative to be the main character of it.
Yeah.
Like, of course Nate is the main character, but I really wanted the story itself, if that makes sense, to be the real driving force and the mystery behind everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this one with Nate, and then we have sorry if I'm wrong. Is it Little Bites? Is the other one with the
Small
werewolf?
bites. Yeah.
Small Bites. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You have these child characters coming in. Do you think that's being influenced by the fact that you're kind of a newer dad now? Are you starting to pull that
Dude,
in?
probably. And it's so funny too because like, whenever Kit and I are developing a lot of this stuff, like, I, I think our heart both really aligned together with we love the idea of all ages books,
Yeah.
especially pushing the limits of what all ages can be.
Hmm.
Um, because that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, this book may be very lighthearted and stuff, and 7 years like fans of Gravity Falls, right? May absolutely love this.
I was
Um,
literally trying to think of that name earlier when we were trying to think of the animated.
oh,
So I
that's
was
that's
Gravity
so
Falls is the one I was
funny.
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so like fans of Gravity Falls, right? Gravity Falls
Mhm.
is geared toward like TVY7, right? But dude,
Right.
I'm 36, and I think Gravity Falls is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like it's so it's like it's what you get out of it because we get to put like a little of the subtle humor and stuff like that in.
Yeah. Was there a moment when you were creating this that you realized that you had something bigger on your hands? Uh, because I know that, like, I know you have so many things coming out of you,
Hmm.
but this one I feel like is really setting up a world that could be expanded upon.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Grandma Chaser, like that was clearly a four book
Hmm.
story. This
Yeah.
one feels like, oh no, this is an entirely new franchise. Did you realize
Hmm.
that halfway through?
Um, yeah, so the original intention was to make this four books, which we will.
Okay.
But after we figured out where it's going to end, depending on feedback, reception, and stuff like this, that's one thing I love about writing in the fantasy genre so much, or the fantastical, is because it you can do so much with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely has an open-ended nature, and that
Hmm.
a lot of that goes to behind the bookshelf stuff. Um, there's a part in the book, I don't want to spoil anything, but clearly behind the bookshelf is something that's been established far before Nate got there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it feels like a lot of the powers that be at this orphanage are aware of it. Um, if you were to expand this world, would you want to go down the Nate Avenue, or would you want to see maybe if there's more going on with this orphanage?
I think I'd want to see both.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just because of like how the book ends, it's one of those things where, um, again, we could keep going, right?
yeah.
But I think really where it hit off that we could keep going with this thing is issue 2. because the script for it's already done. And I remember after I finished writing it, like I was just so happy. It was one
Hmm.
of those things like sometimes whenever you know, like I'm sure like whenever you make an article or you make a podcast or you have an interview, like as soon as it's over with, you're like, yeah, that was great.
Hmm.
Like I feel really good about that one. That's how I
Yeah.
felt about this.
Oh, isn't that great? That feels
Hmm.
good. That's cool.
Oh, it's a good feel. Oh, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. So we were supposed to have Kit with us, who's the artist on this
Hmm.
book. But Kit is up a hill. We learned. We were googling that term. Um, when you're working with Kit on this book, it's definitely not your guys' first book. But what kind of things did Kit wanted to bring to the table on this one?
Fun, unique experience, like everything he
Yeah.
does. Like Kit's mind. I would love to be in it for like half a second, right? Because the stuff that he sends me comes up with the covers he does, like how fast he works. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so great for us to have Comic Soup together because I just really get to see I get to see a lot of the stuff firsthand, man. And God, it's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to shift over to Comic Soup actually, because yeah, Kit is your partner in crime with this one.
Mhm.
Uh, what was your guys' goal with Comic Soup? Why do you guys need to start a new publishing house?
Well, I think the whole idea behind it though is we wanted to just do something for ourselves, right? We wanted to take
Hmm.
all of the titles that like we were brainstorming together and just throw them together to make something just fun, unique, and just really try to marry how crazy both of our brains are together
Yeah.
into one little platform.
So do you guys want to expand beyond just you and Kit? Do you want to bring on other writers and artists?
Yeah. So when it comes to other writers, we're actually working with another one already on a book.
Okay.
So I'll leave that up to later. But as far as
Right.
like other artists are concerned, we never talked about it just because I think that as of right now anyway, Kit just wants to leave it just simple, right? As few
Hmm.
people as involved as possible, especially in the starting up process, because we don't want it to get too muddy or to figure out like we can't do this or we can't.
What's the hardest part? That's the thing is like when you're starting things out, you guys are already so busy, both of you. What's the hardest part about starting this new, adventure together?
Yeah, finding your audience, right? Like,
Okay.
there are people that are fans of Kit, and there are people that are fans of the titles of my books. But with that though, and I'm happy to announce they put it in their newsletter not too long ago. Bad Bug actually picked us up as an imprint for them.
Oh
So
wow,
so we're
that's
working in
really cool.
collaboration with them. Yeah, so that way we can hopefully try to reach a bigger audience and really just hammer it in, man.
Yeah. We're big fans of Bad Bug around here, so I'm always glad that people are working with
Mhm.
them still, and that it is an incredible move.
Yeah.
Uh, with the indie comic scene, I mean, it feels like it's really kind of on the rise, and it has its own beast and stuff like that. Is there anything in particular that you're happy that you're still in the indie comic, or that you're sticking with the indie comic world? Because I feel like we're starting to see out of Marvel and DC these factory prints, right? Things that are
Mhm.
just like, oh yeah, it's cookie cutter, yada yada yada. What is it that you're trying that you feel indie is strongest at?
Um, no limits, right? Like
Okay.
you can make an idea as crazy or as tame as you want it to be, and that's beautiful. The other thing that I love about working in the indie space is collaborating, right?
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like I have my role here, another person has their role there, but like being able to ask for help or see what you do well versus what you're not doing, and what you could be doing better on. I mean, that's awesome. And the way that like you can get feedback from people is just so good because you don't have to jump through the hoops to try to like make sure you're not breaking because you are your own NDA, right?
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not an email chain that's just bouncing
Yeah,
around and you're waiting from
100%.
some dude from PR and
Yeah.
another dude from HR. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So going back to Mostly Dead, we have the campaign coming out today. Yep, this
Mhm.
episode's out. The campaign started today. What are some of the things that you're wanting to give off as perks for this thing? Because campaigns are incredible and there's all kinds of really cool tiers. But I know that you're always pretty creative with these.
Mhm. Yeah, so with this one, of course, we always do the a la carte system, but something that we're trying a little bit differently is we're actually doing discounted rates on all the covers if you add them. So
Oh, cool.
instead of, a variant cover be, $15 for an artist. So instead of that, it's a couple dollars cheaper if you add it. So that way
Yeah.
it doesn't kind of feel like we're pressuring you into getting anything. So something that we're also doing right now, is we're actually doing art prints this time. So we did it with Horus 3 and it worked out great. So we're doing it with this one. So we're taking cover A and cover E that Kit's done, and they are full
Mhm.
art prints. So they're 11 by 17s, and it's just they're beautiful.
When you and Will first started out making comic books together,
Mhm.
what have you learned about this like Kickstarter, economy that you guys are now
Yeah.
pretty active in?
It's just as stressful as it was launching Pocus
Yeah.
1 as it is launching my 20th, 30th title, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's always super stressful.
Do you still feel like Kickstarter is the answer though? Because I think that's kind of just it's a place where people go
Yeah,
for creative comics.
I do. I really like it. Like I like the platform. I think it does well. I mean, in a perfect world, we get to a point that we're past Kickstarter and we have our Comic Soup website and people could just go and pre-order the book on there. So now we don't have a middleman anymore. We're the direct supplier and stuff. But
Yeah.
as of right now, man, like it's worked out really well for us, and I don't want to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, I mean, Todd McFarlane, I think, has a pretty good name in comic books, and he still uses Kickstarter all the time. So it's
Yeah,
definitely not something that's about a size thing. It's just
yeah,
about a different distribution model.
yeah,
And so, yeah, you're in good company with Todd McFarlane,
yeah.
I think. I'm over here trying to pick up every Spawn cover I can.
hmm
Uh, let's close out with some rapid fire questions. You down for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here we go. If you had to describe Mostly Dead in one sentence to someone at a comic shop, what would you say?
Um, ParaNorman meets Monster House, but worse.
But worse.
Yeah.
If if Comic Soup could publish absolutely anything, no
Ooh.
limitations, what would you love to make next?
Oh my God. Like an existing title or something?
Doesn't even need to be a comic book.
Oh God. Oh, Frank, why would you do that? Dude, I would actually really like to do. Oh my God, Frank, I don't know. That question's tough. I wasn't ready for that one. Um, you know what? God, I wish Kit were here for this. Um,
So do I, because half
I
my
would like.
outline is for Kit.
No, you know what? Yeah, you know what I would like to do? I would like for Comic Soup to do a one-off spin-off of a Dragon Ball Z story or Dragon Ball Super.
Oh my
There, I
god.
said it.
Yeah.
We could have a
Well,
lot of fun with that.
and you know what? That just kind of sparks something. I think it would be really cool to make a D&D campaign set in your universes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
God,
Diving
imagine
deeper into hell and
Cockhead.
stuff like that, making
Yeah,
deals.
and then there's a chicken with like a Glock running around. So yeah.
His eyes, by the way, Cockhead's eyes are so this sentence is really weird. But they're so disturbing when you're reading that book and you're just being like his eyes are like over here and you're like, I would never want to be around this dude ever.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
know. Yeah.
creepy. And then lastly, if you were to pick a mascot amongst all of your characters for your brand,
Yeah.
which one would it be?
For me it'd be Horace. And
It
as of
has to
right
be
now,
Horace, of course.
and I think for Kit it probably would be Cockhead. Just because like that thing is just it's so funny. It's so
Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a crossover of those two.
Um. Okay.
Okay.
Spoiler. All right. Cockhead 2 and Horace 4. The plan is to launch them at the same time. We already have a crossover print available.
Sweet.
That's
Okay.
already done. So
Just
for
the
those
cover
two
alone is
together.
gonna be really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Ellen, I always love chatting with you, of course.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I thank you for joining me today. I want to make sure everybody goes to the description right now and check out right now for Mostly Dead. You guys could join the campaign now. And then once you buy a copy of the comic, you can also get the digital copy and add it to panels. We've talked about panels before in the past. I literally read this comic book on panels, testing it out, and it worked great. So make sure you guys are checking out Mostly Dead in the description. Alan, thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, dude, always so glad to be here. Thank you so much.